Hay, and I'm the Cooperative Development Director for Nashville Valley Point, and I'd like to welcome you to the latest webinar series to roll out a refresh of a portfolio that Nashville Valley Point has had for a number of years. It's for vehicle lifts and garage-associated equipment. We have Philip Saunders on the line today. He was the lead state analyst from the state of Washington who led the sourcing team on this effort. So welcome, Philip.
Thank you, Tim.
And then also on the line today is Ted Foskett. He's the Cooperative Development Coordinator that supported Philip and the sourcing team in the refresh of vehicle lifts. So with that, I would like to turn the reins over to Philip. He will introduce you to the sourcing team and walk you through the latest rendition of vehicle lifts and garage-associated equipment. So Philip, take it away.
Thank you, Tim. Welcome and hello, everybody. We're going to talk about contract 05316, and we had a sourcing team composed of Montana, Megan Holman, Mississippi, Billy Beard, Delaware, Blaine Schrader, Oklahoma, Teresa Johnson, and myself, Philip Saunders, with Ted at the helm. The purpose of this was basically to establish a contract for vehicle lifts and garage-associated equipment or accessories. And what we were able to do is we were able to provide this for all state governments, higher education, political subs, etc. The benefit of having this agreement or this type of agreement, it provides inclusion on specific commodities that we're looking at. We were able to provide it to the national stage, and we're able to provide quite a bit of discount on this contract. We were able to award to multiple vendors throughout the country, and we were able to get the best pricing, even superseding the last contract's percentage rate of discount. With the scope of the service that was provided, 8 components really that make this up, but the master agreement is by manufacturer, and we were getting that manufacturer direct, and we were able to meet the delivery needs of the customer. And with that being said, it was ALI certified. This was one of the most important things of this actual contract, and that's the Automotive Lift Institute. All lifts will be certified, and the equipment as well. It also meets FTA guidelines and Buy America. That was another piece for some of our vendors that were able to get on contract for some of those grantees out there. That gives them another channel to be able to purchase from this contract as well. The installation and some other things, those are optional for the best equipment that fits your needs. However, you will be able to do that at your leisure with the contractors to come out and take a look and survey. And these are, once again, some of the top contractors in the nation on this contract. Let's talk about the invitation for bid process. Overall, this was a contract that we worked on for quite a bit, but we were able to come to a quick resolution on this one. The reason why we did an IFB or an invitation for bid was we just wanted that best pricing, and we decided, we had the NASPO Value Point Board take a vote on this to come up with this type of procurement. So we started back in November, and we had this thing advertised out for a little bit. We had a pre-bid conference where we got all the vendors together, and then we moved on to answers and clarifications. Not too many, very, very little feedback from the group because we got it right the first time. So that's the important fact. Even though you see 4 here, it may have been a misspelling here or there, but we were able to get done and down to a good product that was able to be awarded January 26th with the ASB after the board vote, and then we were able to award. The invitation for bid process continued. The bids received, we received 9 of them, and there were only, it was 3 that were not given an award, and there was for different reasons, but this is where the competition really showed itself. If they weren't responsive, we gave them the reason on, here's where you fell short at, and on the next time around, here's how you do better. So it wasn't just you're out and that's it. We gave them a way in to say, hey, good job, but try again next time. There was other bidders that were above you, and we gave them a full synopsis of what they need to do to be successful on the next time and to show that competitiveness that NASPO Value Point and the state of Washington brought to this procurement. We also had a ranking file of manufacturers. However, All of them are able to provide a great service, and all of them are able to provide a competitive price that is available through this cooperative. A little bit of the evaluation criteria. It was a multiple invitation for bid for multiple awards, and with the help of all the other states that was on the actual sourcing team, a lot of the information that I got was very, very, very informational, and and it helped to get us to this final product with a lot of great input. The review process. This is something where we sat down with the team and we came up with, how do we look at this evaluation? Do we make additional awards? Do we follow the federal FTA guidelines and Buy America? This was something that was additional, and this is something that needed to be. The evaluations overall, because of the federal funding, was commonly used in the state and local government, and this is where your Department of Transportation and some other folks are able to use those grant funds and leverage to, again, be a participant in this contract. We were able to award in each category, which included provisions. If a bidder met the FTA Buy America guidelines, their bid was 7% or within the second highest percentage overall. So we were able to come down and we were able to, really make the vendor sharpen their pencil, and we were able to get an effective contract at the end. And additionally, the IFB was reserved to award to a bidder based solely on their meeting all of the requirements and also meeting the FTA Buy America, which again was echoed by quite a few states on why we needed that in this contract specifically. And we came up with a successful product. Here are the results. We were able to award 6 out of the 9. This contract was awarded on February 10th for 5 years. Overall, we got Hennessy, we got VSG, also known as Vehicle Services Group. We got Mohawk, Sturgill Coney, Snap-on, and Benpack Ranger. And if you take a look, you can actually see the number of category awards that they received, and look at the discounts. The discounts here were amazing compared to last year's. It was huge. So when we're looking at 45% off of the list, that's a huge pricing difference. And then we went all the way down to 17%. However, with some of those lower percentages, they are completely compliant with Buy America and also FTA guidelines. Strengths of the vendors. Here are the contracts awarded, and here is your team. You're able to go online, you're able to order anything you want from any of these vendors. This was a requirement in the actual bid and as part of the contract. You're able to go to their website and you're able to see the posted prices located on their government websites. You're able to order at the ease of your fingertips. And all their contact information is here, and as you can see, it's quite a diverse group. They're all over the country, but they're here to provide the best service that we can possibly get with this NASPO Value Point contract. Again, posted on the NASPO Value Point contract site and also on the Washington State contract site, you will find where the install locations were. I thought this was very critical in the contract, and along with the group, we were able to find where every install location is, who the warranted manufacturer, who does the repairs. It's all listed there in those Excel spreadsheets and PDFs and Word documents. And then you get to see their logos as well as their ordering page information. If you have any further questions on that, you can always reach out to the vendor. They are there to help you 24 hours a day, and they have their website set up. Getting started. We did a couple of things here. We looked at the overall cost of equipment, the locations, the local preference, fleet consistency, and whatever they had available for the garage equipment, because that is very key, along with legislative mandates. Very, very easy. All these were taken into consideration, and we were able to check the block on every single one of them. So at the end of the day, for pricing and ordering, visit the location below and start purchasing. If there's any questions, I am the contract lead, Philip Saunders, again with the state of Washington, here, Department of Enterprise Services, Contracts and Procurement, and I can be reached at 360-407-7962. That's all I have. Tim, I'll send it back over to you for the participating addendum information.
Well, thank you very much, Philip. And just to emphasize, it sounds like that these contracts actually have a much more expanded scope than the previous contracts, with some other equipment being available under these new agreements. Am I correct in that assumption?
You are correct. This was a little bit more robust contract. It was very limited on the last contract. So with this one, we expanded a few more pieces on this one, actually. And again, the biggest piece of that, as we expanded it, again, those discounts, some of them in there, we were getting 20% more of a discount. So I think that was critical.
Well, that's great news. I appreciate all your hard work on this, Philip, and also appreciate the efforts of the sourcing team. I'm going to take just a couple of minutes and talk about the participating addendum process for NASPA Value Point. As you're aware, all 50 states and the District of Columbia have a memorandum of agreement that allows them to use any one of our NASPA Value Point cooperative purchasing agreements. We have about 65 different contracting portfolios right now, and all of those portfolios are available to the states through this NASPO Memorandum of Agreement. Now, through the participating addendum process, states and entities may select which contractors they want to use. As you see here, we have a vast selection of different contractors available for vehicle lifts. If states have their own state administrative fee, they can add that in the PA. They could also add in any unique terms and conditions, identify the options for their political subdivisions or for their state agencies in these PAs, and also request any in-state specific reporting or other requirements that they may have of the contractor through those participating addendums. There's three options for participation. We always like option number one the best, and that's where a state will sign a participating addendum for all the state agencies as well as all of the political subdivisions within a state. If there's a reason where a state is not able to purchase the vehicle lifts under these agreements, but they don't have a problem if local political subdivisions wish to purchase under these agreements, well, then we always encourage them to do option number two, where a state will sign a participating addenda for non-state agency use. So basically, it opens it up to all the political subdivisions, but it excludes state agencies from being able to participate. Finally, there's option number three, where a state chooses not to sign a participating addendum. However, political subdivisions still have the opportunity to purchase under these agreements by executing their own PA, and I'll talk about that process in just a couple of minutes. So participation opportunities 1 and 2, the step-by-step processes are the same. I'm not going to read this verbatim, but it's primarily negotiations between the state agency and the contractor. We do have model participating addendums located on our website, and I will show you that in just a couple of minutes. But states will just basically begin negotiations with the contractors of their choice, and once they reach agreement on those terms and conditions and sign the participating addendum, then they just need to send it in to us to pa@naspaValuePoint.org. One point to remember, NASPA Value Point, nor does the lead state get involved in your negotiations or approve your negotiations. We are here to answer any questions, though. So if you have any questions regarding the participating addendum process, you can certainly send those questions to me. However, or to Ted Foskett. However, if you have a contract interpretation issue question, the best person to contact would be Philip. He is the lead for this contract and knows these contracts very well, and he would be the best person to ask any terms or condition question you may have. So as I mentioned, the steps for 1 and 2 are exactly the same. It's just straight negotiation between you and the supplier. For participation opportunity number 3, this is for political subdivisions. If a political subdivision wants to utilize these agreements, they first should send in a email request to info@NASPAValuePoint.org. That info@NASPAValuePoint.org address goes to all of our education and outreach team, and they will receive your request, and the appropriate member from that team representing your region will reach out to the Chief Procurement Officer on your behalf to make sure that they don't have any objections with you executing, or with the political subdivision executing their own PA with the contractor. Now, the reason why we do this is we recognize that states may not have any legal authority over what a political subdivision does. However, we are a cooperative that supports the states, and we want to make sure that we are not competing against any in-state cooperative that state may have already. So we will reach out to the Chief Procurement Officer and ensure that they don't have any objections, and we'll be sure and copy the political subdivision in the email. Once we receive a confirmation back from the Chief Procurement Officer, and hopefully it's a yes, then the political subdivision may then just negotiate directly with the contractor. Once you have negotiated that participating addendum, all you need to do is just send it in to pa@nashvillevalleypoint.org. PDF copies of the executed PAs are just fine. Once we receive the executed PA from the political subdivision, we'll then match up that executed PA with the email approval or non-objection that we've already received from the Chief Procurement Officer, and then we will post those up on the Nashville Value Point website. So on the Nashville Value Point website, we have this flow chart under each of the portfolio pages. A couple of tracks here. One is for participating states. This just spells out all the steps here in a nice flow chart. And then the other track for other participating entities or those political subdivisions. And as you can see right here, here is that CPO check-in process. And then everything marries up right here where the state and contractor will negotiate the final PA, then send it into pa@nashvillevaluepoint.org. This is an important slide right here for political subdivisions. If a state has already executed a participating addendum that allows all the political subdivisions within that state to utilize the PA, then the political subdivision does not need to execute their own separate participating addendum. You are okay to make purchases under that state executed PA. Now, we recognize that some political subdivisions may need to have some sort of a contractual document just to show the relationship between the political subdivision and the contractor. That is fine. We encourage that. However, we ask that you use a different document than the participating addendum. Either use a purchase order or some other internal document that you create. And then also do not send in that document to us. We only want to have those executed participating addendums sent in to us for us to post up on the Nashville Value Point website. So if you're using a purchase order or some other document just to document that transaction, please don't send that in to us. The only exception would be is if a state has chosen not to execute a participating addendum, then we ask that the political subdivisions utilize the participating addendum located on the website and execute their own PA and send that in. Of course, following the steps I just outlined previously, where we first check in with the Chief Procurement Officer in that state to make sure that they don't have any objections. So some things to remember. The sample participating addendums are located on the Nashville Value Point website. It's under each of the contractors pages. Executed PAs will be maintained on NashvilleValuePoint.org and also in our own repository. As more states participate in these agreements, the map of the United States will start to color in blue, and I'll show that to you in just a second here. As I mentioned before, the lead state and Nashville Value Point do not get involved in your negotiations. However, we are here to help or answer any questions you may have. If it's a contract interpretation question, send those questions to Philip Saunders. If it's a Nashville Value Point process question, you can certainly send those questions into Nashville Value Point. We ask that you only submit completed and negotiated PAs with signatures from both parties to us. Sometimes we're copied in on communications between states and contractors, and there's maybe a draft copy of a participating addendum attached. We don't want to make the mistake of posting a participating addendum that has not been negotiated yet. So please only send in those completed and negotiated PAs to us. Send those to pa@NashvilleValuePoint.org, and a PDF format is just fine. So let me quickly show you where the documents are located on the Nashville Value Point website. So if you do just a search for vehicle lift, it'll pull up the one contract portfolio that's tied to that. You can just click on this, and this gives you an overview of the whole process. So we have copies of all of the original IFB documents, and the specifications, and also the award recommendations, and everything that was used to come to the decision on how to select the 6 contractors. Also, I mentioned that map here. This actually shows which states have already executed participating addendums under this portfolio. And as you can see here, we already have 89 participating addendums executed. Philip Saunders' contact information is located right here. If you click on either this tab or this tab right here, this takes you to the contractors pages. So just click on any one of the tabs. I'll use Mohawk as the example. This has the master agreement and the company profile right here. The model participating addendum is located under this tab. So if you click on this, it'll open up a Word document right here. We ask that you start with this Word document. This has all the latest terms and conditions and the points of contact information here. We recognize that some states may have an existing pre-approved participating addendum. It's okay if you use that, but we just want to make sure that all the language is updated in those PAs, and you can find that updated language right here. And then also on each of the contractors pages, there's a list here of all of the states that have already executed participating addendums. So with that, I'd like to just recognize that Ted Foskett is the Cooperative Development Coordinator that supports this portfolio, and he is available to assist you if you have any questions regarding NASPA Value Point. His point of contact information is located here, tfoskett@naspavaluepoint.org, or his phone number, area code 907-723-3360. And with that, I'd like to thank Philip for putting together this great presentation today, and Ted for joining us today as well. And I also thank everybody for their participation on today's webinar, and feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. And I just want to wish you all a great day.